Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you'd like to support my channel, please check the link above to my Patreon page. I'm back with round 4 of a modern friendly league. I finally won the die roll, so I'm going to be on the play. And this looks beautiful, so I'm going to keep it, play out an island and pass the turn. Looted Delta, Cracked going to 19, Watery Grave going to 17, Inquisition, almost certainly Grixis Death Shadow, could be some kind of blue-black control, could be Grixis control. Opponent chose to take a Trickster, which makes me think he's probably on Grixis Death Shadow. Trickster's a really good card against them since they typically only have like one big creature attacking, so being able to blank their attack, very powerful. The opponent cracked Mishra's Bauble, targeting me, so that they have complete information on top of the Inquisition through my draw step here. The Master of Waves, pretty good in the matchup. Trickster, I'm going to want to save, so Spreading Seas, pretty easy decision here. I get to get another card. Mutavault was a great draw there because we want another land from Master of Waves, and Mutavault is just another attacker. Opponent Thought Scours, so it's looking like they could go for a Gurmag Angler. We appreciate seeing two of their few threats in the graveyard. We see a bubble getting cracked. This time looked at the opponent's hand. They choose to crack their fetch land, shuffling away whatever they saw at the top, getting a Watery Grave. This is all during my upkeep for whatever reason. Oh no, they did it in response to the draw trigger because they didn't want it. They could have done it on their own turn, but slow rolled it for some reason. So here, I guess I'll play out Mutavault and just pass. As I mentioned, Trickster is good in the matchup, so we really don't want to play it unless it actually does something for us. Opponent is Snapcastering, targeting Inquisition. Means we're probably going to cast Trickster tapping the Snapcaster. Get a body on the table, hopefully get more devotion from Master of Waves. You can only take the Harbinger, so that's what he does. Reejerey presented an option to keep the Master of Waves in hand, but they're weak to Thoughtseize, and there's sort of few removal spells that actually deal with Master of Waves. You see they haven't gotten red mana yet, apparently by choice. I guess they don't have any red spells in hand. But Master of Waves obviously resistant to Kolaghan's command, Terminate, Bolt. So it's good for us to run him out. Feeling like I'm doing pretty well, I can go ahead and attack with Trickster. If the opponent plays a Death Shadow, obviously this attack will make the Death Shadow a little bit easier to cast since the opponent's not even below 13 yet. Chooses not to attack with the Snapcaster. I'm going to go straight for the second Master of Waves. See if the opponent has some answer to it. Well, they cracked the Scalding Tarn, getting a Steam Vents. Not too scary because, again, Master of Waves is resistant to red. I'm going to bolt the Trickster, which kind of makes sense. It prevents me from getting a ton more elementals, but I'm still going to get 3 unless has something else. Fatal Push is turned on right now because they cracked a fetch land, I think. All right, well, Dismember paying no life, I think. Or did they pay 2 life? I think they paid no life. All right, so only going to get 2 more elementals, and they all remain 2/1s, but gives me a pretty nice attack right now. Opponent blocks, yeah, they block, and they're going to take 6 going down to 5, and it looks like they didn't have an answer to Master Wave, so that game went through pretty quickly in the replay, but felt pretty grindy in the actual round. I was a little bit worried about my precious Master of Waves, but fortunately one of them was able to stick around. All right, so we've won the first 7 games of this league. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys game 2 and the sideboarding strategy. Back for game 2. Let's check out the sideboard. So trimmed all 4 Cs. Trimmed a Reejerey and 2 images. The thought being, I guess, that Phantasmal Image... weak to targeted effects like Liliana the Last Hope that wouldn't otherwise kill one of our creatures necessarily. In hindsight, I'm not sure that it's correct to trim these guys. You guys can let me know your thoughts on it. They do play Gurmag Angler and Tassiger, so copying those guys is good value if I don't have any good targets on my side. And things like Terminate and Bolt and Fatal Push usually kill our creatures anyway, so... seems like Phantasmal Image might be a good choice in this matchup. I have to say I'm still a bit rusty. I just got back from a 5-week vacation a couple weeks ago, so let's see. I took out the 4 Cs, took out 3 creatures and 4 vials, so that's 11 cards out. That's a pretty big substitution. I brought in 4 Deprives, 1 Negate, 4 Relics, and 2 Echoing Truths. So once again, that's 4 Deprives, 1 Negate, 4 Relics, and 2 Echoing Truths. We've got some graveyard hate. We've got some counter spells, and Echoing Truth has proven pretty good in the past because if they exile their graveyard to cast a delve creature, they can't recast it without reestablishing a hefty graveyard. So moving forward, actually, I had learned this in the past. I like to leave in 2 AEther Vials against Grixis Death Shadow. I think it's smart. It's because it's a good matchup for us, but we can lose if we get stuck on lands. So AEther Vial gives us sort of virtual mana to help us actually play Magic. So I think moving forward, I would definitely leave in 2 AEther Vials, and I would probably leave in 2 Phantasmal Images. I might bring in, I think even in Game 3, if I remember correctly, I might have brought in Dismembers. So let's see how this one played out. So this is a very nice opening hand, very well-rounded. Looks like the opponent's going for Disruption again. This time, yeah, Inquisition, and they took away the Lord, which is curious to me. I'm not sure if it's the best, but that's what they thought was the best. So obviously, it prevents me from casting Silvergill unless I draw another Merfolk. I play out Relic on my turn, start trimming the opponent's graveyard, reducing his ability to cast delve creatures. Opponent is hitting their life total really hard. I'm not sure what they're going to take here with Thoughtseize. They went with Phantasmal Image, and they play out Death Shadow, so interesting. Well, okay, fortunately, I drew a Silvergill, which is clearly the best play. So after activating Relic, I'm going to go ahead and play an island. Did I just say clearly best play? It looks like I chose to leave up Deprive here. And the reason being, I guess I was rushing a little bit through the commentary here, is that if the opponent slams a land, if I had played Silvergill Adept, Kolaghan's Command is just too big of a blowout. It would destroy my creature and destroy my Relic, set me back really, really far. In hindsight, I'm not quite sure if it's correct or not. I'm not sure if it's correct to play around Kolaghan's Command when we're on the draw, if we're a little bit behind. It's not, leaving up Relic mana. If the opponent doesn't cast anything that we want to deprive, we can also crack Relic. So I felt okay passing here. In hindsight, I'm not sure that it was correct. You guys let me know your thoughts on this particular play. It was a very difficult decision. Opponent shocking and now collective brutalitying, only making me reveal my hand. So opponent has had really good stuff so far. They've ripped my hand apart, and now obviously casting Deprive is pointless because they're just going to get the Deprive anyway. But they did see that I drew another Silvergill Adept. Another Death Shadow. The reason I didn't activate Crack Relic in response to that was because they don't have nearly enough in their graveyard to cast like a Gurmag Angler, and if they were going to do that, they probably would have done it before casting Collective Brutality. So double Death Shadow, pretty frightening. So if I had played the Silvergill, how would this have played out differently? Possibly they would have just... I would have been tapped out, so odds are they probably would have Collective Brutality'd the Silvergill Adept and just attacked. So Echoing Truth drawn off of the Relic seems pretty good against double Death Shadow, but we have no board at all. Went down to 17, drew a Master of Waves, which is pretty good, but we don't have another land. So Silvergill gives us an option, a chance to draw another land. If we just take our turn off to Echoing Truth the Death Shadows, the opponent just plays them again and then has mana up to do something, like counter something or kill something. So I had to establish a board here and hope that the opponent didn't really have too much to do. I could take a hit from the Death Shadow, hopefully draw a land off the Silvergill or my draw step, and establish a board with Master of Waves. So play Silvergill Adept. Drew an island, so doing decent. Opponent played a Scalding Tarn, which makes their creatures 6/6s. So we would go all the way down to 12. Sorry, we would take 12. Wait, yeah, take 12. So it means we go down all the way down to 5. But hopefully next turn we have at least 2 chump blockers from Master of Waves and can start to rebuild. So I can't block here. If the opponent has the Temur Battle Rage and we block, we're still going to be taking 11 from the one that we block, if we blocked, and 6 from the other one, so still be lethal. The opponent is fetching, shocking, and the last card in their hand is Temur Battle Rage. That's going to do exactly 18 to me and bring me down to -1. Quite frustrating. I did have the Echoing Truth, but again, they would have just played out their Death Shadow and had that play lined up next time. If I had used the Echoing Truth, I guess I would have ripped this island off the top. I could have played the Master of Waves, but then I would have to double chump anyway or something, and the opponent had the exact mix of cards that they needed to get me to sort of precisely lethal. So very solid game, good draws by the opponent. And that was the first game I lost in this league. I'm going to go ahead and show you how game 3 went. Let's see if I changed my sideboard at all in game 3. I did bring in the Dismembers. I think that's correct. I didn't remember to bring in 2 Vials. So I have 2 Phantasmal Image, 3 Reejereys out, 4 Spreading Seas. So let's see. I think basically I took out 2 more Reejereys to make space for 2 Dismembers. But I should have 2 Vials in the deck, I think. So another very nice hand. Opponent kept 7 as well, so we're going to open up Island. It'd be really nice if I had a Vial in this hand. Opponent's targeting themselves here. Let's say pass, and they want to draw that card, so they do. And I think I'm just going to jam a Lord here. We're on the front foot. We don't need to play reactively. We're not afraid of anything next turn that we have to counter with Deprive. And we don't expect to have to tap anything with Trickster. All right, so opponent's filling up their graveyard really quickly. Okay, going really, really hard on turn 2. It looks like they're going to be able to land a Death Shadow. And yeah, why not 2 Death Shadows? It was good last game. So if we play a Lord and attack, the opponent would go down to 9. The Death Shadows would become 4/4s. So I'd be set to take 8. Instead, I just pass through. Looking at this in replay, it may have been correct to just play a Lord and attack. It's doubtful that they'd be able to get these guys to 10-10 next turn. And if I had played a Lord and attacked, he'd be at 9. And if he didn't deal with my Lords, I'd have a pretty clear path to victory. Okay, Collective Brutality, targeting the Lord, and trying to make me reveal my hand. So I'm sort of priced into countering this thing. Okay, so now he's going to fetch and shock. The Death Shadows are 4/4s. They're going to get in here. So you know what? The fact that the opponent played Collective Brutality there, if I had played out a Lord, he would have been resistant to Collective Brutality. And here's a Gurmag Angler, so things are looking quite dire all of a sudden. I don't have a 4th land, so the fact that I bounced one with Deprive, not that consequential. But I can't really do anything here. If I played a Lord and attack now, these guys get too big. I think I missed my window of opportunity earlier. Sometimes you're just walking on a tightrope against this deck. Goes to 7. Has a bolt. Maybe he had that before, and he could have used that instead of the Collective Brutality to kill one of my Lords if I had actually gone with that line. So here they're looking to attack for 17. I'm going to have to tap down one of the Death Shadows, and I think I have to take 11 here and hope that the opponent doesn't have a bolt. If I draw land, I'm right back in it with Master of Waves. I don't. I drew an Echoing Truth, and I just had to pass back. I think I've pretty much lost at this point. Whiffing on lands is really rough, and it was hard education, hard reminder that I should play 2 Aether Vials in this matchup. I could have been unloading Lords if I drew an Aether Vial, but not having access to it, I'm just getting stuck on 3 lands here. Opponent's still got 17 coming at me. I'm at 1. The best I can do is bounce the Death Shadows and chump the Gurmag Angler that just plays out its Death Shadows again, and even if I play Master of Waves, we're not going to have enough bodies. So I am a dead man walking right now. I don't even care what the opponent does with his Scry. Whiffing on lands was a big deal there. Actually, I think I kept an opening hand with 3 lands and didn't draw any for 5 turns. Actually, I was on the play, so it's probably 4 turns. So bounce the Death Shadow, chump Gurmag Angler. Opponent has more than enough lands. They're just going to drop those Death Shadows. And at this point, I had absolutely nothing left that I could do. So very frustrating. This should be a good matchup. I recommend that you guys keep in 2 Aether Vials. It just gives us a strong angle to play against them. Obviously, it can be kind of a dead draw in a very grindy matchup, but it can also be something that wins games. So it's my recommendation. Let me know your thoughts on Aether Vial. I know some people think that it should be totally sideboarded out, but I think in this matchup, which is very winnable, some of the few losses that I've had, many of the few losses that I've had against Grixis Death Shadow, have been because I've gotten stuck on lands. Imagine if 2 of these lords were lands, I would have another lord on the table, I'd have 2 Master of Waves, it would be a totally different picture. The opponent would literally need Temur Battle Rage to get any damage through. So again, let me know your thoughts. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Patreon page, and I'll see you guys in the next video for round 5, where I'll be hoping to win and finish the league 4-1. I'll see you guys there. Bye.